are the same thing. So seventh heaven is a parental win, just in general. I didn't like middle school, like all humans, and not to brag or anything, but I was Life Skills Student of the Month twice. Life Skills didn't actually teach life skills, as anyone who knows how many pens and tubes of lip gloss go into every load of wash I do would suspect. Didn't learn life skills. It was the name for our combo drugs and sex class. The drugs portion of it was more detailed than any other class that I took in that school. Like, we ran out of time at the end of 8th grade in US history, so they just showed us without comment the Patriot. They're like, here you go, Revolutionary War. But by the end of 7th grade, I knew every street name for heroin and cocaine, organized by decade and region. Like, I was all set. I also knew how to huff Pam with or without a paper bag, because you never know what tools you're gonna have at hand. We actually had a very thorough AIDS education, which came from a good place. We just learned you can't get it from hugging, you can't get it from sharing a soda. It got a little more dicey when they wanted to explain how you could get it, because our school didn't really have an abstinence-only policy. It was more don't ask, don't tell. So the teacher would be like, you can only get it from blood-to-blood contact, or, sir, what was that? So, does anyone want to watch a very edited version of Rent? Yes, you do. The only other time that sex was actually even mentioned was in a charming little slut-shaming narrative called The Marriage Quilt. It's a lovely tale. They would select two students to be a married couple, and this married couple was their wedding night, and they were, of course, discussing their entire sexual history, as you do on your honeymoon. And as people were named in this sexual history, they would come up until the entire class was on the invisible marriage quilt, and then in a very creepy campfire voice, the teacher would go, "How crowded will your marriage quilt be?" It's very unnerving. Here's the thing, we still didn't really know what sex was at the time. So there were supposed to be two possible morals to this story. Either if you sleep around, your marriage quilt will be covered in syphilis, or if you don't wait till marriage, on your marriage quilt there'll be no place for Jesus to sit. But without any talk of religion or STDs, it was a little confusing. We were just like, all right, so you have to invite everyone you've ever slept with to your wedding. That could get expensive. I see now that's something to consider. We didn't have a ton of confidence in our teachers in my school. When I was a freshman, I was in Spanish 1, and the beginning of that semester, it was when a U2 song came out, if you guys remember it, when Uno, Dos, Tres, Catorce, which anyone who knows Spanish or has seen Sesame Street knows is 1, 2, 3, 14. And our teacher got up and was teaching us the numbers, and someone was like, "Excuse me, teacher, but Bono says that it's actually uno, dos, tres, catorce." And she's like, "No, that's not." We're like, we're gonna trust Bono on this one. He seems like he has a better grip on this situation than you. He's who we're gonna go with. We got a great film education at my school, not like learning about film, but we saw a ton. We saw a ton of films. We had one kind of film series, and it was called Teachers Did Not Come Up with a Lesson Plan Today. So let's take the VHS that have two, which is The Sound of Music, which we didn't get to see, but Ben-Hur, Gandhi, Cleopatra, just things that were really relevant to the lives of young millennials. And they tried so hard to make it relevant. With Ben-Hur, they gave us little worksheets for like, this is what leprosy is, this is the science of it, it's a terrible disease, it's mostly eradicated. And then they showed us the movie and we're like, it kind of cancels out the science when the movie you show us shows that leprosy can be cured with Jesus' tears, that any educational value now has been wiped out. Sorry to tell you. So I tried to do a little online dating. I have not been successful. I have a couple theories for why this is. One of the reasons is if you're swiping, if you're a guy, the first level you have to look is just, am I attracted to this person? For women, when you're looking at guys, you have to think, if I was murdered and Olivia Benson looked at my phone and went through my Tinder history, would she immediately be like, that's the murderer, that he has murdery eyes, he has a murdery face, we've got our guy. I didn't realize exactly how much my standards had lowered on online dating until, I'm not sure if you know this, but OkCupid sometimes does sponsored posts, and they'll put TV characters' profiles right in with other profiles you won't know. And there's a show called Salem, which is about the Salem witch trials, and in it is a disgraced Puritan. He bathes and shaves even less than non-disgraced Puritans, was kind of wearing a sack. And before I realized it was sponsored, I was considering him. I was like, he could be nice. He could be a feminist, but not tell me he's a feminist. I would just know by his actions, not his words. It could happen. I went on an OkCupid date once on Valentine's Day, and I wish I could tell you that I was the kind of person who was like, card companies and candy companies, they're not gonna tell me when I can have a casual date. Valentine's Day doesn't mean anything. I was totally like, this is gonna go at the top of our modern love profile. It's gonna be a great first sentence, just really set the narrative. And I was really excited because most guys, I'd meet for coffee or a drink, and this guy's like, let's meet at the Lego store by the Rockefeller Center. I'm like, yes, quirky and imaginative. On our wedding cake, it'll be 2 Lego figurines because it'll harken back to this date. I didn't share this with the guy, by the way. I keep all my crazy nicely bottled up. And so we get there, and I'd never been to the Lego store. I'm like, this is so fun. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna build something? He's like, oh, I need a XY purple piece. We were on an errand for him. He had a Lego errand. It was no more romantic. He was like, we could meet at CVS, then we'll decide where to go next. So that was a little disheartening, but I wasn't gonna let it go. I'm like, well, we're at Rockefeller Center. Do you want to ice skate? Do you want to get hot chocolate? And he's like, no, I don't want to do any of that. He's like, do you want to see something cool? And never in my life have I had more realizations like, oh, this is how I'm gonna die. This is how it's gonna happen. Good to know. But there were a lot of people, and I'm like, I've got this. This is fine. So we go, I'm like, as long as there's lots of people, I'll be fine. We go on the subway, and I'm like, all right, he's taking me to a mystery location. Where's it gonna be? A park, bookstore, that'd be cool. Even, if he showed me where his childhood dog is buried, it's a story. You gotta remember that everything's a story. And we're on the subway, and he's like, there it is. And I'm like, where is what? And he's like, we just passed. It's the hidden underground mystery subway station. It was closed. We just went past it. Wasn't it great? I'm like, yes, that was a great subway. Where aren't you next? He's like, I think we should see it again. And that's when I remembered I'm very bad at lying. I'm like, I have a sock test tomorrow. I'm supposed to go with socks or test. I combine them. That's a rookie mistake there. But I ran away quite quickly from that one. Little embarrassing, but I did remember that OkCupid, it's all in the inflection. You can be like, it's kind of like a Jesus take the wheel, like, OkCupid, you go do you. I put faith in you. Or it's just really telling you what you're gonna get. It's an OkCupid. It's not a great Cupid. It's not an awesome Cupid. My mom keeps encouraging me to go on Christian Mingle and J-Date. I am neither of those faiths. And she's like, it's fine, it'll be great opening conversation, which it would spark a conversation. I'm very confident in that, but she has interesting ideas about things I should do, but she's always, it's good, she's helped me in various situations. This summer I did a triathlon, which was a terrible idea. It's all like, it's gym, but all together. Like, gym is spread out. It's like, today we're gonna do this awful physical activity. Triathlon, you kind of all get it over at once. You write a number all over your limbs, which they're like, oh, it's fun, and it's for if you die. They're like, oh, the leg with the numbers floating in the river, that's number 62. They don't want a big lag time from like when they fish you out to when they identify your number. Numbers all over you. So the swimming part went okay. My main goal was not drowning, and I succeeded. The bike part was fun because as more athletically gifted people passed me, they would say encouraging things like, you're doing great! Kind of like, they're like, we didn't know that there was a Special Olympics portion of this, but isn't it wonderful? These people, they believe they can give their effort too. And what was bad is I'm so used to like reciprocating, like, you know, you too. So I just feel like, you guys are doing great too. And they're like, we know. Do you see our rippling muscle? Like, we are great at this. And then the run was through the woods, so mine was more like a hobble drag. We weren't allowed to have our phones or anything in the woods, so I just kept like racking my brains. I'm like, I read Hatchet so many times, I could survive here if they couldn't find me for a while. Just, if only I had a hatchet, that there really was the key to his survival. And at the end, I was happy because they gave me water and they gave me a medal. And my mom was there. She's like, you did a good job, and I was feeling good. She's like, you know, they were gonna leave. They were gonna leave, and I said, no, you can't leave. Someone is still out there, and she wants water, and she wants her medal, so you cannot go. And it was good, because, you know, I know she was there supporting me, a little demoralizing, but I know who I am. I'm not the athletic person. I enjoy scaring the people who do various gym classes in New York, because the people who teach, you know, all these fitness classes, they normally know what they've signed up for. Lots of fit people in good athletic clothes, and then I come in and I'm wearing a Mathletes shirt, Ivy Drive Elementary School, 1999, goes kind of to my knees, and I already look out of breath. I came in on the elevator and they're already concerned, and they're just like, whoa, this is a lot of things happening on this building. You are here for Ratchet Zumba? I'm like, yes I am. They're like, okay, here's free water, take it, please take. I get a lot of free water there. They see like lawsuit across my forehead. They're like, this girl's gonna die, but she's gonna die well hydrated. And they come over to me all, they're like, you doing okay? I'm like, yes. Does something look not okay? They're like, no, what you're doing, that is what you should be doing. The only time, normally I'm just kind of in a pain haze and I'm not quite sure what's happening. I knew something was particularly off in a Pilates class I took with a friend. And afterwards she's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, what, do I look kind of tired? She's like, the noises. I'm like, what noises? I would have known if I made noises. She's like, oh, no, you scared everyone a couple times. They looked at you. And I'm like, what, like a screech? And she's like, you know, I don't know what a water buffalo is, but that's what I'm leaning towards. I'm leaning towards water buffalo. The same friend, she took me to an hour-and-a-half yoga class, I'm like, it's fine, it's stretching. And the instructor, she was very into it, but she had a Valley Girl accent, and the wall was decorated with a statue of Ganesh and then a unicorn, so they were mixing a lot of things, and she kept saying things like, inverted dog down now. And before I'd go into child's pose, I'd look, I'm like, maybe I'd do it, and then I'd laugh. I'd laugh really hard, and I'm just like, I'm just enjoying the magic of yoga. You guys, you do the pretzel twist. Sometimes like a girl will land on me, I'm like, it's okay. The more the merrier. I come here for the community. I'm glad we could share this time together. I will say the most demoralizing race that I have ever been on was 5K a couple years ago. And I know that sometimes small children will pass me, but that's fine. They're not weighted down by life yet. I've had so many more things, experiences that, you know, weighed down on my soul. The Macarena, for years, the Macarena. And, you know, when elderly people pass me, that doesn't really bother me too much either. You know, they've had years to perfect their form. This particular race, there was an elderly woman, appeared to be at about her 70s, and she had a broken arm in a sling, and she was passing me, and that wasn't bothering me either. Here's what got to me. So she's passing me, and she looks back at me, and I have an interesting gait, most described as horse about to be put to sleep. Not quite there, but it's coming. Black Beauty, it doesn't look for you. And she looked at me, and I could see her about to say, are you okay? And then she assessed who I was, you know, a young woman in the prime of her life, being passed by an injured elderly woman, and to spare my pride, she decided not to ask me, and that was just very that was a little demoralizing. I didn't take my banana afterwards. I'm like, I don't deserve potassium. I don't